Hi everyone and welcome for this brand new test on material, and this time we are going to test some new brush. For people who are going to take a look to my tutorial, I use a lot the Raphael 8404 size 2 a lot of time, or 1, and this time I'm going to try the Vinci brush. We're going to be probably cool, and I will try it and try about if that's work with my way to paint. I will give you my feedback at the end of this tutorial, but during all this video I'm going to try directly on one miniatures and give you my feedback directly during the paint. What I can do more, just subscribe if you want, click on the ring to be sure to don't lose any of my new tutorial and live painting, and you can always support me on Patreon and you will have access to more tutorial and painting group, so you can share with me your work and I will give you my advice. By the way, I'm going to prepare some surprise for December, so don't hesitate to subscribe before the end of November to be sure to have access to my Patreon during December. Thanks again, and let's go for the tests. So we have three kind of sets. The first one is short and pointed, with short hair and very pointed, long and pointed. The 2 is a size 2, and the last one is Micronova. I don't usually use a lot of this one, but for the tests I will try for you exceptionally this one. So I'm going to test first this one. This is a long and thin, and that's a size 2. As you can see, the reservoir is not necessarily very large, so I'm going to start by using this color on these minis. So the first step is to clean a little bit my brush, make again my points, and come on the paint. So first I just try and move my paint into my palettes, just to see in which direction my hair is going to move. And now I'm going to apply on some few parts, because I have to remove and pushing some parts directly in non-metallic metal bronze. So for the moment it's pretty responsive and pretty easy to apply my paint. Oh, that's a really good point, but I have to come back more time than I expected to my palette, because the reservoir, the base of my brush, it's probably a little bit thin. So I come back and I have to be more and more precise for my highlight. So it's pretty interesting, because I'm going to put my highlights on this part. I use the side of my brush to push my highlights on the different edges. So the objective is not necessary to show you all the different steps for the copper non-metallic metal, because I already done this kind of tutorial on my channel. You can check and take a look. So I'm going to change my brush just to use the next one, and that will be the short and pointed. Check your brush into your water. It's really important to remove all the excedents on the brush. And now I'm going to continue with some white color, if I can open my So it's pretty interesting. The only thing is about the pressure and the softness of the brush, the hair. And I think if I have more hair, it will be more easily. But as you can see, that's work. I just have to correct a little bit this part. So I'm going just to try this a little one, and to be honest, I'm not necessarily a big fan of this kind of brush, but it's always cool to start and trying something new sometimes. That can be pretty useful, and that can give us some idea for some effect, for example. And I'm going to do the more small things on this mini, and that's the verdigris effect. So it's not necessary, it's not a very necessary brush, but the angle helped me a lot, for example, on that side, to put my paint and always see the surfaces, because if I come with a classical brush, my brush will don't give me the possibility to see what I do. So for that can be pretty cool, but not necessary. It's more a gadget. But that's work. By the way, the hair is very short, so it's very complicated to don't put too much paint, because as I explain a lot, when you paint, your brush need to never have paint after the middle of hair, because it's going to go into the viroll. It's a French word, but I don't have the word in English, and broke your hair and make it more chaotic. Don't hesitate to push into the comments your feedback, your what do you expect for the channel. I will probably do a special video during January. I will do a billion of my last year, and you will be able to ask your question before. So it's not very useful, I think, but some of you can use your brush like that. I don't know, but it can be always useful. So not necessarily useful, this one, but the two previous one is pretty interesting, so I will probably find two of them in size 3 and 4, because it's a little bit thin. So I continue to thinking about the Raphael is the best one, but this one can be very useful if you don't find a Raphael, for example. It's not necessarily easy to find, but it can be pretty useful. Don't hesitate to try from your side and to give me your feedback on the comment. So let's go for the conclusion. This is done, my friend. So the brush is pretty cool, pretty easy to use, and I will just say probably more large size, like size 3 or 4 with this brush. The hair is a little bit more soft than I use usually with my Raphael, but that can pretty good when you have to do some freehand or something like that. And by the way, with a more large brush, I will have a better reservoir of water at the base, and so with a bigger size of brush I will have a better and larger and bigger reservoir of water into the base of my brush. So I will go not necessarily a lot of time to my palettes to recharge my brush, so that can be a good point. By the way, that worked pretty good. If you can find this kind of brush from your side, don't hesitate, because I know it's down in Germany, so sometimes it's complicated to take it if you are from US, but that's always a good thing to know if this kind of brush can work, and that can work. By the way, don't hesitate to subscribe once again and click on the ring. You can support me on Patreon, and you can see the planning for the next tutorial I'm going to put on some part of this video, so you can see what's next, what will come. The next test will be on a Chimera model paint. I have a lot of good feedback about, so don't hesitate to follow me to see what I think about this paint. So it's the end. Thanks again for watching and see you soon for the next tutorial. Bye bye!